He never noticed how much she did, not because he was heartless, but because her love was quiet. It didn't announce itself. It didn't demand praise or recognition. It lived in the small moments, the way she checked if he had eaten, the way she listened when he talked about his fears, the way she believed in him even when he doubted himself. She was always there. When he failed, she didn't judge him. She encouraged him when he felt lost. She reminded him of his direction. When life pushed him down, she stood between him and the fall. And slowly, without realizing it, he became comfortable. Too comfortable. He assumed her presence was permanent. He assumed her patience was endless. He assumed love meant she would wait forever. No matter how careless he became, he started listening less. He started appreciating less. He started choosing ease over effort. She noticed the change, but she didn't complain. She tried harder instead. She adjusted her expectations. She convinced herself that love meant sacrifice, even when it hurt. She told herself that one day he would see everything she did and understand her value. But love that is always forgiving is often misunderstood. There were moments when she wanted to speak up, when words sat heavy in her chest, begging to be released. But every time she opened her mouth, she closed it again. She didn't want to be a burden. She didn't want to sound demanding. She believed that real love should be patient, so she stayed silent. He mistook that silence for strength. He didn't realize it was slowly draining her. One evening, after another long day where he barely noticed her presence, she looked at him differently. There was no anger in her eyes, no frustration, just exhaustion. The kind that comes from giving too much for too long. "I'm tired," she said softly. He nodded without really hearing her. He assumed it was about work, about stress, about something temporary. He believed tomorrow would be the same as today, and the day after that too. He didn't understand what those words truly meant. That night, she stopped explaining herself. She didn't remind him to take care of himself. She didn't ask about his dreams. She didn't wait for him to notice her silence. Instead, she sat alone, realizing something painful. She had been fighting for a love that only survived because she carried it. She remembered all the times she stayed when leaving would have been easier. All the moments she defended him when others questioned his actions. All the sacrifices she made quietly, believing they would eventually matter. And that's when a dangerous thought entered her mind. What if staying was costing her too much? What if loving him meant slowly losing herself? Meanwhile, he continued his life as usual, unaware of the shift happening right beside him. He didn't see the change because it wasn't loud. There were no dramatic arguments, no threats, no tears in front of him, just distance invisible, but growing. She was still there physically, but something inside her had started to leave. And that was the most dangerous moment of all. Because love doesn't end with anger. It ends with acceptance. She accepted that waiting longer wouldn't magically make him value her. She accepted that loving harder wouldn't make him see what he already chose to overlook. She accepted that being always there didn't guarantee being appreciated that night. While he slept peacefully, believing nothing could change, she made a quiet decision not to leave immediately, but to stop disappearing for someone who refused to truly see her. And that was the beginning of the end he never saw coming. The change didn't happen overnight. It unfolded slowly, quietly, the way real endings usually do. He noticed small differences, but dismissed them. She still smiled, still helped, still stayed. Yet, something was missing. The warmth that once filled the room felt thinner, like a fading echo. He told himself he was imagining it. She, however, was becoming aware of everything. She noticed how easily he overlooked her efforts, how he listened with his ears, but not his heart, how he assumed her presence was guaranteed. Each realization hurt, but instead of breaking her, it strengthened her. For the first time, she asked herself a question she had avoided for years. Who was she becoming in this love? She began doing small things for herself again. Things she had once postponed. For his comfort, she spent time alone. She rediscovered dreams she had placed on hold. She learned how silence could be peaceful instead of painful. And in that silence, she found clarity. He mistook her calm for contentment. One evening, he came home earlier than usual and found her writing. Not texting, not scrolling, writing. There was focus in her eyes, determination he hadn't seen before. When he asked what she was doing, she smiled and said, "Just reminding myself who I am." That sentence stayed with him, though he didn't fully understand it yet. Days later, he sensed the truth approaching. The way she no longer argued. The way she stopped trying to be understood. The way she accepted things without resistance. He felt uneasy, but pride kept him quiet. He didn't ask the questions that could have changed everything. Then came the moment he never expected. He found a letter. Not dramatic, not angry, honest. She wrote that loving him taught her patience, strength, and sacrifice. But it also taught her how easily love can turn into self-erasure when only one person carries the weight. She wrote that she stayed through moments that broke her because she believed in him. But believing in him slowly meant stopping believing in herself. She wasn't leaving because she stopped loving him. She was leaving because she finally loved herself, too. That truth crushed him. He tried to talk, to promise change, to explain that he never meant to hurt her. For the first time, he saw clearly what had always been there: her value, her loyalty, her quiet power. But love has a painful rule. Real change must come before loss, not after. She listened calmly, without anger, without tears. She told him she hoped he would grow, but she couldn't be the place he learned that lesson. She refused to stay where her worth was discovered only through fear of losing her. When she walked away, she didn't feel empty. She felt free, and he was left with a truth heavier than regret. A good woman doesn't leave at the first mistake. She leaves after many chances, after many silences, after loving without being seen. He finally understood that. Her staying had been the miracle. Her leaving was the consequence. Some people don't realize what they have until it stops fighting to stay. So, if there is someone in your life who stands beside you when it's hard, who supports you without demanding, who believes in you when you doubt yourself, don't wait for distance to teach you her value. Because when a good woman chooses herself, she doesn't go back. And the chance you lose with her is the one you never get again.